And we're live! Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the Bearded Men of Real Estate Show. I'm Ray and this is Dan. Say hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
And we are two bearded real estate agents, which makes us the host for the show with the most bearded men of real estate.
This is the show. This is the most bearded real estate show on the interwebs.
Yeah, we're the number one rated beard real estate show, actually.
The number one.
Right.
And we're not the only anymore. When we started, we were the only. Now we're the top rated and the best and all that stuff.
Yeah. Might also still be the only, but hey. So thank you so much for joining the show. If this is your first time, know that we go live about every Wednesday around 12 o'clock Central. That's 10 o'clock Dan time and 1 o'clock over there on the East Coast. And I might as well include Mountain Time. Curious to know what time. Oh, wait. So Mountain Time would be 11. So I am curious to know, Howard, who just joined the show. He says, hello, gents. He could comment. If you join us live, just like Howard is, we can comment about you or your comment. So and we can share your comment. So I appreciate that. But I'm wondering, what time is it in Israel? I think it's like 7 o'clock. Is it 7 o'clock there?
Yeah, I think it's 9 hours ahead of me.
He said it's 2000. It's 2000. I don't know what that is.
8 o'clock.
Edward Carl says, hello from Chile, AZ. Oh, Edward.
It's only 85 in Arizona today, so it's cooling off.
All right, he said, okay, 20 o'clock.
Just minus 12 and you get your time.
Yeah. There you go. All right, so thanks everyone for joining. We got a bunch of news today, and we're going to kind of go with a light show. So we're going to be fast as we go through these stories because it is a holiday, and we'll get into some of these. Like FHA, there's a new proposal for flood insurance that realtors need to take action on if you want to get this for your clients. We have a rental fraud warning. We've got mortgage demand and news on that. We've got Zillow; their numbers are soaring, and we have a really interesting story. I went down a rabbit hole on logos. Dan, you know that I am kind of a graphics fan. I know you're a graphics fan, designer / fan.
Well, I remember when you were working on the Pixel logo, and I remember seeing all the early drafts of that, and I felt, it was awesome just to see the early stuff, but then to see it come to where it's at today is awesome. Yeah.
And so I went down the rabbit hole of EXP logos, and we have some origin story there, which will be a lot of fun. But before we get an origin story, before we get into that, Dan, why don't I'm just going to throw it to you. Why don't you make your toast?
I just want to do a quick shot and say thanks to everyone.
Thanks to everyone whom
served.
There you go.
Thanks to everyone who has ever served me a shot and for our country.
That's okay.
Cheers, guys.
Yes, happy Veterans Day. I used to say hug a vet, but don't do that because they'll get COVID and it'll destroy the defense. Melissa Mara says 8 p.m. is 20 o'clock. Howard says 8 o'clock. Okay, so you guys are right.
Cheers.
Central Time, that's like a third of the country. Is it really?
I don't know. Well, yeah, there's three different time zones.
Yeah, but not as much population nor electoral votes. So there you go.
Right.
Tim Macy, thank you for your service, sir. He said, I want to do a quick shot too. All right. Come on. Come on with it.
Yeah. So by the way, Tim, so much has changed. Like he left EXP and they've made so many changes. So I can't wait to get into that.
Tim, I want you to stay, especially for the last one. Chris Burry said shot everybody.
Shot.
Oh, I see. Okay, you got the rhythm.
Yeah.
That's what rhythm is going to get you.
And there are 4 time zones. There's Mountain and Central.
There's way more than 4 time zones, though.
There's only, well, I mean, in America.
No, Adam Jones says noon Central.
That's why we just go by what is it? What's the standard? 5 p.m.
Y'all are getting y'all can't white boying is what I think it's white boxing, Tim. What, not white boying.
He's already done some shots apparently.
So thanks everyone for joining the show. Dan, before we get into these stories, would you tell everyone what this show is all about? It is not just shots and making fun of commenters.
Yeah.
Hey, Hope Campbell, how are you?
We got some awesome comments today. This is amazing right up front. And by the way,
so Hope is an insurance agent. So the first story that I get into,
nice.
I would love to know your comments on kind of what we're seeing there.
And by the way, we are live on the YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can go ahead and comment, and it will display your comment here. And we can talk about you. I mean, your comment here as well. And always remember, we're back on the podcasting airwaves. So go check us out. Say whatever your home system is, play the Bearded Man Real Estate Show podcast, and they will play it. But when Ray and I met about 4 years ago, I had an idea for a show because I am in fact a bearded man of real estate. And when I met Ray, I noticed something very interesting about him.
Ain't no law with the claw.
He only counted to 3.
Yeah. Our countdown is always 1, 2, 3.
That's a little shout out. This is our 123rd show. So 1, 2, 3. There you go. But I noticed that Ray also had a beard.
There you go.
But he also had a format for the show, and it's the same format we use today. But I also noticed that he loves to give value up front, not only to his clients, but to just as a human. So the show's about being more as an agent, but also being more as a human.
And a lot of times, especially like one of these first stories, we find that giving value has to do with knowing what is happening in the marketplace and in your industry. So that's why we do the show. We'd appreciate it if you'd share the show. I can't put that in the comments because if I do, then Facebook suppresses us and YouTube doesn't like us. So please share, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you enjoy what we do, if you find any value in this at all, we would appreciate it if you would spread the word so others can find it too. I got a ton of comments. Pete Thorpe's joining the show. Pete, thanks, man. He says, I like shots. Edward says AZ has its own time. That's true.
Yeah, they're like, we're not changing.
Hope says she's ready for it. AZ don't change for nobody. Pete Thorpe said Microsoft device, play BMORE. Shoot, it doesn't work. Is there a Microsoft device? Is there a Microsoft home speaker?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So yeah, whatever your smart speaker is, say the name of it and play the Bearded Men of Real Estate show. And then we'll play through your device. Last week's show. We will upload the show today, this evening. And we'll also put timestamps if you're watching this on YouTube later. If you're like, man, when will they get to my favorite article about mortgage demand from Homebuyers? Just look in the comments. And there'll be a
time about that every week.
Yeah, there'll be a timestamp. You just click on that, and then bam, we're talking about mortgage demand from Homebuyers. So there you go.
And what else? We also do, Matt also does BMORE Chops.
That's right. Chops. Matthew Clanton. He's been awesome at cutting up each one of these stories, and then we release them about 1 or 2 a day throughout the week. So if you do subscribe to our channel, you'll just kind of get a healthy dose of us across the top of your page.
You literally can't get away from us. So go share, like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, and then comment down below.
Oh, all right, guys, you ready?
Here go the cats. Let's get into this. Cats are fighting. Ready? Oh, it's so refreshing. I look forward to that right there every week.
Okay, so the first topic I did want to mention kind of as a follow-up from last week. When we talked about NAR silencing your speech, there's been a lot of discussion. The BMORE chop of just that segment was 27 minutes. So go back and check that out. You can go to our Facebook page and find that if you haven't seen it. But there's also been a lot of chatter in a lot of real estate groups around the Facebooks. So it's been really interesting to hear some of the discourse, and people are saying like, well, just because now you're a member of Parler and the Wikipedia says that Parler has anti-Semites on it, is that enough to get you, if this new NAR rule passes,
right? Is
that enough to get you just being a part of that member? Because it's not only your speech, but it's also your activity and behavior. Is that enough to get you in trouble? Or, so there's all kinds of theories being blown around. The basics, Ryan Bokros. Oh, I think he just said hi. Hi, Ryan. I'd actually tagged him in our post last week and said, hey, what do people do if they want to tell their representative as a realtor how to vote? And he says, contact your local board. So it seems to be like it could be better defined in order to get the people that hate out of our organization as a whole. I think that's a good thing, and people want to do that. But there seems to be some gray that would be litigated. And anytime someone sues NAR, we're all paying for that. So I think they're
at least we're paying for something. Oh,
yeah. Ooh, not a logo. So I feel like it could be better defined, and there may need to be some more work and comments on it. If you feel the same way, be sure to contact your local board, because a lot of times they're just going to rubber stamp anything that comes through the NAR. So if they don't hear from you, they're literally not going to hear from anyone. All right, so let's get into the first article. This article hits home, especially for, I guess it was like 4 weeks ago, where we talked about the new flood ratings based on climate change.
Yeah. But like me, I'm very far inland and under. Yeah. And we don't get much rain. I don't ever have to worry about floods. And by the way, I'm also at foothills. So it'll go by. The water will go by real fast, but nothing will flood.
Sure. That's what you say now, but wait until your climate changes.
Right.
Well, so another struggle that a lot of us realtors have been up against is that currently, if someone has to get flood insurance on a property, they're limited at what they can find if they're getting an FHA loan. This proposal might change that. So there's a proposed rule, which is an opportunity for you guys to take action. It's with the Federal Housing Administration, and they proposed a rule on Tuesday that would allow lenders to use private flood insurance option rather than forcing buyers to go through the price gouging National Flood Insurance Program. Here's a quote.
What happens when you have more vendors in the pool?
It seems like you would have a more competitive price.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yep. So here's a quote from the Assistant Secretary for Housing and Federal Housing Commissioner, Dana Wade. They say that our proposal would expand the options for obtaining flood insurance rather than continuing to lock in home buyers to one of the federal options without any ability to comparison shop. We are also proposing the important safeguards that will help protect borrowers so their homes will have flood insurance coverage at the level at or above the level available through the National Flood Insurance Program. So that all sounds pretty good, and I've run into several instances, because a lot of times whenever you have flood insurance, it requires more money up front because they're paying a full year premium as part of the flood insurance. So whenever they pay that full year premium, it requires more of a down payment or more closing cost up front for a buyer. And a lot of times, if you have a buyer getting government loan or an FHA-backed loan, they don't have a huge lump sum for down payment. Right. And a year or two ago, it was killing a couple of deals of mine where we got under contract, everything was fine, they're pre-approved, let's go. Hey, it requires flood insurance, no problem. They get some quotes were outrageous. And I asked the insurance agents, well, where else can you get quotes for this? And I think actually I called Hope, one of them. I was like, where else can people get flood insurance for this? And they're like, well, they have to go through this program. All insurance brokers or agents get it through the same program. And I was like, well, what about this? We found a private provider that was literally 1/3 of the price for the same coverage. But even the private provider that I found said, yeah, we can't do anything because they are forced to go through this program. So this opens up the options, allows more competition for flood insurance, and I think will be a really good thing for people that are trying to get an FHA loan. Hope, here's her quote. Here she says, or her comment, she says, I can't tell you how many FHA loans I've seen fall through from requiring FEMA. There you go.
So the thing is where it gets a little slippery is when it's required. So I'm happy that I got to go to a second point. Sorry, I had a shot before the show.
Well, let me get to this quote. Okay. Billie Jean, who also used to be in insurance, she says, this is so needed. I wonder if the private options will provide more coverage as well. Apparently there's going to be like a base standard of coverage that is at or above what the National Flood Insurance coverage is at. So they will raise their coverage standards to meet what is currently required in order to get it from a private provider, which that makes much more sense to me.
Well, and that's why I'm happy that there's many more options in the pool for people to choose from, but having it be required, and it's a national requirement. It's not just, so I don't know if everywhere does it, but we have to have an NHD report, a natural hazard disclosure report.
Really? We don't have to have that.
Yeah. So in my opinion, we should have, I guess this would be a California thing. We have that run, have the NHD report done. Then if it comes up, you're in a flood zone, then the requirement kicks in. But just to have it required nationally is still crazy to me. So I'm happy that they're changing it so it doesn't have, it can be by privatized. So it there can be, it can keep the prices more competitive, but have it be required is still.
Well, I think it's mostly required in areas that are in an existing floodplain. Now, the question remains if they start looking into climatized floodplains and the future floodplains based on the climate scientists, is that going to start to be a requirement for flood insurance? And that question is so far unanswered. But looking at the direction that we have in the White House, it could be a climate change based policy. Let's see. Hope says that private flood is almost always more cost effective and allows higher coverage than $250,000. And this year responded to Billie Jean, said, yeah, I issued one last week for $600,000. So Clayton says places flood when girls go look at the okay. Melissa Varhead, this will be so helpful. Howard says kayak time. Oh, look at that. Dan Lugwood said, I can comment on my own show. That's amazing.
It's like Inception.
He's actually watching us from YouTube now. So, hey, Dan, thanks for joining the show.
I'm not on the show anymore. I'm just watching us. Yeah.
And then Ryan Boker says, so we harken back to the days of privatized mortgage insurance. That was far from a competitive market. Well, it's not mortgage insurance, it's flood insurance. And so far, the private market has been super competitive from what I've seen.
Required flood insurance.
Yeah, the flood insurance that you have to get. Clayton says best read ever. Okay, whatever. I trust you guys.
He's all right.
Yeah, all right.
Clayton doesn't care that we're a family show.
That's right.
And that's why we love him.
Hey, Dan, speaking of fraud.
Perfect. Rental fraud warnings jump 30% due to the Rona pandemic. A sharp increase in the use of online rental applications since the start of the Rona has caused a consequent jump in red flags for fraud. The percentage of so-called fraud triggers detected by TransUnion increased nearly 30% from March to August, according to the credit reporting agency. TransUnion defines fraud triggers as applicant statuses with failed authentication and or identified as high risk. They reached a high of 15.2% in August, compared with 10.3% over the same period last year. These fraud cases are largely about faking the identity of the tenant. They include using someone else's driver license, stealing someone else's social security number from the dark web, or inventing a new identity entirely, known as synthetic fraud, which I had never heard of synthetic fraud before. So this is a quote from, and I'm going to butcher their name, sorry, Maitri Johnson, Maitri. What the Rona has done is accelerated the rental industry's adoption of technologies in the digital environment to become contactless, which it did to the real estate industry as well. But I feel like the rental industry was way behind us. So this has really catapulted them in there. And by the way, he is the vice president of TransUnion's tenant and employment business. And he goes on to say, as this acceleration into the digital environment has occurred, it has also opened up the prevalence of fraud much more so. So here's my question. Going back to the synthetic fraud, not the synthetic frog, Dan, the synthetic fraud. So if someone doesn't exist and they technically get a rental, how do you kick them out if they don't exist?
Like, there you go. Well, that could be part of the problem.
How do you evict them if they don't exist?
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have a problem evicting somebody that wouldn't exist, right? Because
they're all on paper and they're all signed up, and they all. How do you prove that they don't exist if their identity exists but they're not physically in the home?
You just wait on them to leave and bar the door, because a fake person can't sue you.
Yeah.
No. Chris Berry said synthetic frog tastes just like synthetic chicken.
It's true.
Okay, so this comment should probably be put in the chop. Like, we should probably chop this comment and put it in the previous thing. But Ryan says, but private mortgage was recorded as well, and the idea of competitive market changed very fast. When the market woke up to the idea that it was required, it became very uncompetitive. I think what you'll see is a lowering of the existing rates, because right now that is what's happening. It's required by the government and selected by a few providers, and those rates are always super, super high. So we need to open it up. Okay. So that's really interesting. I found that article pretty interesting because it wasn't necessarily a surge in the number of people faking it. It was a surge in the number of people who were applying at the same supposed rate of faking it, but then they had a percent growth, if that makes sense.
Well, remember too, it's here. Let me go back to what exactly it says, because the other one it's not concerning, but it says defines fraud triggers applicant statuses with failed authentication. Which haven't we all kind of oops, that was the wrong password, or oops, I put in the wrong number.
Yeah, but that's I don't.
I mean,
I think
does that count though?
That's not it. It's failing to authenticate the identity of the actual person.
So I go through the whole thing. Here's everything. And then they go, no, you're not you. And I go, oh,
yeah, pretty much.
But I am me.
So, the other thing that was interesting is that they talked about in the article how that now there's an increase in the contactless ways for people to apply.
Yeah.
And that's what's driving the increase in these applicants. But I mean, you have to be pretty bold just to lie on the rental application and hope that you'll get it. So basically, I guess they're calling like this person says they work here. Do they work there? The person's like, nah. Like, what are the authentication methods besides maybe it's the social security numbers that they're putting in? They're trying to run the credit report, because these days you get a credit report run on you if you're trying to apply for a rental.
Yeah. So
then that doesn't authenticate. So that's
well, and then do you have to then create fake personas for 3 different references? Like, how deep does this go?
It could lead to a lot more people's identities being stolen.
Let's go to the dark web. Yeah, I mean, any reason for these a-holes to steal more identities, they'll do it, you know.
Is there anyone out there that happens to be in the audience that's also a member of the dark web that could kind of clue us in to some of the
Yeah. And is that just like whatever address you want .dark web, or how do you get there?
Yeah. No,
I can't even get there.
I think they're Usenet groups. Do you remember those days?
Is BitTorrent still around? Is that dark web?
Yeah, it is actually. It is still around. And
that's
yes,
the darkest web I've ever been to is BitTorrent.
Oh, the MRC back in the day, that was kind of dark webby. You know Merc, MRC?
No, I don't. See, it's
little M, capital IRC. It was the long before Napster, long before BitTorrent was a thing that you could download and just put on your computer. You had to go to these weird chat rooms and type in codes in order to get stuff. So you had to like go to this chat room and somebody would say, "Hey guys, I have 8,000 songs. Here's a catalog of them."
Okay, yeah.
And you typed in like a combination of code, and then it would start to download on your computer, and hopefully that person was truthful.
Well, that's kind of how BitTorrent was too. You were like, I'm going to some random person's computer and hopefully. What did Tim Macy share?
Pete Thorpe said, I'm back. Had to leave for client showings. And Tim, I mean, this is what gifts come through as. It's just blank. So everybody enjoy Tim's gift that we can't see.
Maybe that's a picture of Tim doing shots. I don't know.
There you go. Speaking of shots, let's talk about demand from home buyers.
That kind of works.
Yeah. So mortgage demand from home buyers drops to the lowest level in 6 months, reports CNBC. Now, this to a lot of folks may seem concerning, especially on the face, whenever you see an article like this, given the times that we're in. And I don't know. We'll see. All right. So let me go back to the article. I'll show you the article.
I just want to know, what's it going to feel like when we don't have a job anymore based on these articles, Ray?
You know, we a lot of realtors filing jobless claims. That's the next headline you'll see.
Well, that's the different. That's a whole.
Okay. So anyway, record low rates. But home buyers pulled back again. A 3% decline compared to the previous week. So as you guys know, it's the end. This is it. The housing market is over. As a matter of fact, another headline on The Real Deal said, home buying slump worsens as applications for mortgage loans drop. Oh no, it's over. Quit the industry. No one, and I mean no one, is buying a house right now. Despite Susie Orman encouraging everyone to wait until October and November.
That's right now. Wait. That's right now.
That's right now. So everyone, given her influence, should be buying a house. Okay. But no one is, according to these headlines.
Well, and also she predicted, is your home, if you own a home right now, if you're a real estate agent, if you're a consumer and you own a home, is it worth 50% less right now, as Susie Orman predicted? Right now.
Susie Orman said it would be based on appraisal methods that appraise your house because the neighbors is foreclosed. Yeah. So despite Susie Orman begging folks to wait until October and November to buy, due to the crashing market this summer. Here's a quote from Joel Kahn. The purchase market has continued its recent slump, with the index decreasing for the 6th time in 7 weeks to its lowest level since May of 2020. Inadequate housing supply is putting upward pressure on home prices and impacting affordability, especially for first-time home buyers, lower income buyers. And lower income buyers. All right, so the decrease in activity last week. Now, this is what they're talking about. It's week-on-week averages. The decrease in activity last week has absolutely nothing to do with the most contentious presidential election in history. I also wanted to note that the applications were still 16% higher than a year ago, and refinance applications rose 1%, were 67% higher than in 2019.
Wait, what? Hold on. I blacked out for a second. What?
I was saying like the whole world's crashing, the market's crashing. We've entered a huge slump, 6 weeks in a row, gigantic slump. The market is in trouble.
I mean, that's a month and a half.
Right. 3% decline from last week alone, and has nothing to do with a presidential election that is still undecided. And it's actually 16% higher than a year ago.
16.
Yeah. Now that decrease, the 16% higher, is a drastic decrease from being 30% higher a couple of weeks ago. So obviously downward trend.
Well, we're also, it's now a lot. I mean, even though the market's still hotter than ever and we're still 16% higher than a year ago, it's still fall. It's still once we hit November 1st and then December, things do slow down. So it's slowing down as per usual, but at a pace that's 16% higher than a year ago during a pandemic. I mean, real estate.
You're okay. So, I mean, what you're saying is real estate seems to be seasonal. And I mean, no, if we want to drive clicks to the headlines, we are not going to put that out. Okay.
We're known for that, by the way, only doing clickbaity headlines.
Oh, Julie Rightmere says it's over. Ryan Bokeros says, oh, Susie. Tim said, can we all go back to her video and drop some comments? That's a really good idea. You could just search for Susie Orman and also search for Susie Orman Lies and find my video on YouTube. Tim Macy says, study shows that gifts make people feel happier than politics. Howard says, ouch to us saying that realtors are going to have to be finding jobs. And Edward seems to think this is all fake news. I don't know. Pete Thorpe said, so instead of 10 offers, there's only 6. Yeah, that's about the percent decrease. He also goes on to say that this is like when politicians scream about one side cutting funding for 50% for the kitten and puppy programs, when in reality, they are only giving $5 billion increase instead of a $10 billion increase. All clickbait. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know it, but when they're talking about a decrease in spending, like this president wants to cut spending by 25%. A lot of times they're talking about increases that are not being increased as much. That's kind of the name of the game. Clayton said he applied to McDee's just to be safe. That's good. I think you make a great fry guy. You're one with potatoes. Howard says he likes gifts with a T for you audio listeners.
Hold on. I'm up to something. Keep entertaining the masses. I'm up to something.
Are you just saying vamp? Is that a vamp sign?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that the secret code vamp sign is Ray? Yeah. Keep going. I'm glad no one saw or heard it. There you go.
Stretch. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm glad that was very under the radar, so that no one knew that you were up to something while I was talking about the mortgages. And now I do want to mention that Howard switched over to YouTube, which I appreciate. He says that Facebook had some problems.
Okay, so I can't necessarily, because I'm on my laptop, so I can't comment on our own show. I can't go to YouTube because I'm on my phone. But I just shared in the contributors messenger, I shared the actual Facebook post for Susie Orman. So I said, hey, Suze, can we get a quick update here, please? Okay, thanks, bye.
That's perfect. Yeah, we need to revive that post for her and help her realize that these things she say have consequences.
Yeah, so I shared that there. If anyone wants to grab that real quick and show it into the throw it into the show, they can comment on that. That would be awesome.
Pete Thorpe says the Masters start soon. Okay, thanks, Pete. Good job, Pete, stretching that. Getting us on another time. Yeah. Okay. Oh,
still up to something. Hold on.
Oh my gosh. So guys, what's up? What do you think's going on in the housing market, huh?
I don't know.
This would be a great time to tell everyone to share the show. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And then if you hit the bell button, you'll get notified, especially when we go live. Because like Howard said, it's maybe a little bit easier to watch on YouTube than it is on the Facebook, especially when Zuckerberg's having issues with it. I can hear myself talk through your computer, man.
That's weird. Okay.
Now I can.
I think that's because I had my phone going. All right. So I tried something. I don't know if it worked, but anyway, share that Susie post, everyone, and go comment on it again. Let's get an update. Yeah. Let's see what she thinks.
That's a good idea, Tim. Thanks for the idea. Yeah. All right. So we have 2 articles left. 1 article left before we go into the rabbit hole of logo design for EXP, which is going to be a lot of fun. But this was an interesting one. I didn't read all this because you told me you wanted to get my live reaction here.
Yeah. So I'm just going to cover stuff. Then I'm going to hit some numbers.
Okay.
So I went through, I dug a little deeper than just the article. Now this article is from CNBC.com. But Zillow shares jump after online real estate company blows past estimates and provides optimistic forecasts. So that's cool, right? Like we're happy that everyone's doing well during the Rona pandemic. So Zillow shares climbed more than 8% in extended trading on Thursday after the digital real estate company reported third quarter estimates that blew past analysts' estimates and offered a better than expected forecast for the fourth quarter. A combination of record low mortgage rates and a Rona-related trend towards remote work has led Americans to move and spurred a surge in existing home sales. Zillow provides inventory, blah, 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 blah. But here's where it's interesting. So Zillow provides inventory across the country along with technology that allows prospective buyers to shop for homes and take virtual tours.
Whoa.
What? They're the only ones that only Zillow does that, dude. It's crazy, right? Like when you list with me, you get a virtual tour, a walkthrough. You can even walk in from the street if you want. You get a top-down view. You get everything. But only Zillow does that. All right, so this is a quote from Rich Barton. He's the CEO. We believe these tailwinds are durable, supported by low interest rates and demographic shifts. Okay, so that's kind of for the that's kind of a comment on the real estate industry as a whole. But if you read the last article that Ray did, we're all going to die. Prior to Zillow's report, the stock had already more than doubled this year. Early in the run, the company had to pause its offers until its offers unit, which buys homes and sells them because of the Rona-related restrictions that limited physical contact. So I did look into this in detail, and it seems. Can you guys still hear me, by the way?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. So I look, and it seems that all these reporting, it seems that their numbers are up, their numbers are up. But they did report a loss in 2 divisions. So their homes division and their offers division, Zillow offers division, both lost money.
I'm sure that's mostly due to dealing with pesky real estate agents, right, Dan?
Right. So now Zillow said that this is from a different article on Housing Wire. Sorry. Zillow said the decrease is because the temporary pause in home buying activities in the first half of 2020 resulted in lower inventory available for resale during Q3. Wait, okay. So, but here's where I want Ray's reaction. So they're saying up. We're making a bunch of money. Everyone invest. Our stocks are up. You should invest. Zillow's premier agent revenue was $299 million in Q3, up 24% year over year. So where's their revenue really coming from?
Agents.
It's coming from us, dude.
It's actually coming from dealing with pesky agents.
Right. It's coming from us. $300 million, up 25%.
So there's more people buying more Zillow now.
Yeah, even though it's getting more and more expensive, they're making more and more money off of us to give us our own listings back $300 million. So most of their quarter was from Zillow Premier agents, not the actual services they provide.
That's interesting. So it seems like they have a lot of stake in agents.
Yeah. So that one kind of blew my mind when I saw the $300 million price tag on Zillow Premier agents. Made $300 million from agents.
The only thing that blows my mind about it is the flippant dismissal of agents who are concerned about the current business practices by Zillow.
Dude, that $300 million is from just one quarter, Ray.
So why be so like, oh my gosh, we're agents, we're not going to replace you. Don't worry about it. When he does a call, like he does several of these calls to hopefully train agents and such. And on one of the calls, he has the guy that created Netflix, and all they talk about the entire time is how Netflix killed the old model of Blockbuster.
Yeah, literally.
And that doesn't, I mean, surely there's agents out there that are like, this is not going to end well if we continue down this road. Like, and so for the record, it's still a good buy. If you're an agent, you could still make more money than they cost. The question is, are there other lead generation opportunities that you're not sinking money into that you could have a better ROI, which should always be analyzed for the agent's perspective.
Yes.
So you're still making more money if you invest in Zillow as a platform to generate leads. But the concerning part is that they're not really addressing the concerns very well from agents. They're not coming out with the future business model that what they think is going to look like. And I understand that if they did that, they would have competitors in the industry that would try to beat them to the punch. But there's a lot of agents that are like, ooh, I'm not really feeling good about this. And agents thinking that, well, by the time we realize that this is a problem, it's going to be too late. And they haven't really done a good job addressing that. They need to hire Greg Schwartz back. He did the best job at relieving agent concerns by sharing anecdotal stories about how they're helping agents and also the future vision of the plan, including agents. And the current CEO is honestly terrible at that. They haven't shown a plan in the future that effectively includes agents as not only a revenue source for them, but also using Zillow as a revenue source for the agent.
Yeah. And then, so as I was doing my research, I found a quote from the former CEO, Spencer Raskoff, from 2015. And he said, we're not a real estate company. We are an ad service, essentially. We help agents get leads from listings, but we also sell ads. That was his quote. I should go find that one again, because it is 100% different now. And what did we
and what did the article call it? Pete Thorpe picked up on it. Pete Thorpe said, he said, "Oh, really? Real estate company now?" Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I want to go. This is the Housing Wire one.
Christian Harris said Zillow's virtual tours are garbage. You have to use their crap on your iPhone, and the photos scans end up distorted. It looks pretty shoddy. Yeah, they need better tech there.
So here we go.
That's just depressing. Stop using Zillow.
Back in 2015, former Zillow CEO Spencer Raskoff said that the company viewed itself as a media company, not a real estate company. This is a quote from him. "We sell ads, not houses. We're all about providing consumers with access to information and then connecting them with local professionals. And we do a great job of giving those local professionals high quality leads. They'll convert those leads at a high rate and then want more media impressions from us. So we're not actually in the transaction. We're in the media business." That's from the former CEO.
Yeah. And there's no, let me get some of these comments here too. Adam Johnson said, not just buying, he's talking about agents buying the ads, but doing the commission share of 30 to 35%. That's called Zillow Flex. And now, Adam, maybe you know more about this program than I do, but once you sign up for Zillow Flex, don't you also owe commission on a referral from the person who Zillow referred you to? Isn't it not only that person, but anyone that person refers to you for like a year?
On which one?
On the Zillow Flex program.
Oh, I don't know Zillow, but I can't remember. Op City has that one, but I never adhered to it.
Yep. Clayton Fernando Shrimp says sounds sus. David, hey David Fresquez, he says that does include all the big dollars in ads they charge in the big corps plus agents. Pete says they cut pricing to coax spots in markets. Agents that don't know how to lead gen kick in cash. I haven't noticed a cut in pricing yet here. Justin said that's mostly true. I get about 25% of my closings from Zillow because I suck at the follow up and lead gen. Chris Murray said that's the best. That's the best comment. Chris Murray said, "What are you gonna do when Zillow starts sending houses in the mail to review for 3 days?" What are you gonna do when Zillow starts sending houses in the mail? What do you mean? All right. Pete Thorpe said he's still the best liar.
I think he's making a Netflix joke.
Yeah.
You have to return the house.
See, it'd be much better if I was more timely at that. That's very funny.
I know Chris's mind, so I know
it's funny. That's funny. Okay, that's funny. He goes on to say that Zillow is going to replace agents just like WebMD replace surgeons. All right, so that's the classic retort, right? Like, well, how can Zillow, a website, replace agents? Those are two different business practices completely. And I think a lot of people would trust a computer to handle a transaction just as well as a real estate agent who got in because realtor standards are pretty low. I mean,
you don't say.
If a realtor had the same education requirements and standards that a surgeon had, it would be very difficult for a computer to replace them. But unfortunately, we all know that's not true. And we all know that there are agents on the other side of transactions that we completely take advantage of on behalf of our client, get them to give up their client and pay a lot more for a house. We all know that happens in the industry. There are terrible agents out there. And as long as they're still a part of us, as long as they're still a part of the realtor organization, people are going to be looking for a computer, because had they posted their home online and not dealt with this person that wound up costing them thousands more and then charged them a commission on top of it, they probably could have come out better. So it's like akin to 80% of the surgeons like leaving sponges in their patients, right? You'd want to look for a computer solution that counted sponges.
A robotic solution that doesn't leave sponges inside.
Right. David says, being devil's advocate, his audience is his shareholders, not agents. Well, so yes.
Okay, but I would argue that because
his customers are agents.
Customers give him $300 million a quarter.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money in a quarter, dude. Wow.
Chris Murray says, Spencer, talking about Spencer Raskoff, Spencer looked at me in the eye at a private meeting and told me face to face, Zillow will never be a brokerage. They'll never do anything to replace the agent.
Then he left, and we called the canary in the coal mine, dude.
Yeah. Whenever we saw Schwartz. Use a Theta Z1. Oh, okay. He's talking to Adam, or who was it about the tour? Christian Harris about the tours. Adam says, we don't have any in our area because median price sucks. Yes, too. Ryan Bocaros joins us from YouTube. He says Zillow is still in the game of doing what the typical average agent won't do. Exactly.
And apparently they're doing better than ever because of that.
Oh, he hit send too fast. He said Zillow was created because they gave info when the agents wouldn't. Transparency. Now they want to give good service and constant follow-up and service. So that is true. One of the things that you will notice is that if you get a lead through Zillow and you do not decide to follow up with that lead every week or every month, guess who does? Zillow. And so they want to put that lead back into their database and pull them out of your database.
If only there was some other solution, like a follow-up company that just does follow-up for you, and that's all they do. You put all your leads in there, they follow up for you, and then you check in with them like once a week, once a month, and they stay connected. You can also set up searches. If only there was something like that.
That's a good idea. Somebody should invent that. Adam Johnson said they had to replace the agents because we suck at follow-up. Yeah, that's the basic problem, is that an agent gets a lead and they do not call. This is ridiculous. You know, one of the common problems that like people say, oh, it's really hard to give people money. I've called 4 contractors and not a one of them has called me back. And then the industry were like, oh, those terrible contractors aren't calling people back. When agents do the same thing, there's people literally saying, go show me this house I'm going to buy and give you money. And you're not returning the phone call. And so then they connect with Alex on Zillow, who finds them someone else. And Alex is automated. Alex is not a real person. He just transfers. He literally says, hi, this is Alex. I'm connecting you to an agent now. And the person says, okay, thanks. It's a recording. It's not a real person. Well, it was a real person who recorded it, but then it's a recording. Sorry. Soapbox.
I'm trying to catch up with all these comments.
Ryan says, does anyone know a good CRM? Yeah, that's good. Let's get all that in the comments. Drop your favorite CRM and while you're at it, give us some numbers on your lead gen.
Yeah. Why don't you share your whole database with us? Just why not?
What CRM are you using? That's the key.
I am not going to share mine because I don't want anyone else using it.
All right. So I've been off my soapbox. It looks like the comments have chilled out on this. I think we're good to go to the next story, which I'm really excited about.
Here we go. I'm back on Susie's post, by the way.
Yeah, here, let me post that in the comments. I'm going to post Susie Orman's post in the comments. So you real estate professionals who actually know what you're doing can maybe clap back.
So, by the way, most of the comments are from when this post was active or new, which was 18 weeks ago. But there's one from 4 weeks ago from a Sarah L. Marinin. And she's like, it's October. ...
Woo! So, I like her. That's good.
And then there's my, hey, can we get a quick update? And then Clayton. So I haven't seen any foreclosure or massive drop in housing prices. Did you mean 2021 or? And then
this is getting so good.
And then Tim's is, it's November. Do you guys have any of those half price houses yet, or do I have to wait until Black Friday?
Oh, that's so good. Everyone check out Susie Orman and click the link so that you can go right there. I just put it in the comments. Pete Thorpe said, that's why my dummy account is named Alex. Dan, which you are follow-up boss. Okay, so let's take a look. EXP is exploring a new logo.
Exponentially.
To expand their brand identity. I guess, I don't know. That was probably not the best, but yeah, we're good. I was really searching. I actually text Dan and Matt. I was like, okay, what's a word that starts with EXP and means rebrand?
Well, we should have Tim. I mean, he was the king of that stuff.
Couldn't find nothing. So I was really just trying for some alliteration in the show.
I went with expansionary, exploratory, experimental, expressive.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to make expressive work, but I did like it because it's kind of expressing who they are via a logo. So this is their current logo, everyone.
And is that supposed to be a house, or is that supposed to be EXP turned into a house?
And then like a 9 under. I don't know what the upside down V sideways 9 is. Oh,
so that's your X.
That's a house.
And then if you go sideways, it's an E kind of, or it's a 9 because maybe they started with 9 agents, and then. Then the little house window, the orange part is the P.
All right. So Melissa says the blah logo. So this is their current logo.
Howard is all.
Melissa Mara said Tim left, so they have to freshen up. Howard said expired. Yeah. So they're expiring their new logo. David says it's a house for sale sign. Is it? A house for sale sign.
I've always wondered what that little blob is. It's been so weird and dated looking to me. So I'm actually excited they changed.
Christian. I think Christian, aren't you EXP, Christian? Or did you real? Did you go real yet? If you haven't gone real, maybe they're making this new brand. Yeah. Christine Halverson says 4 colors. Well, if you count the gradients, it's a lot of color.
It's a lot of color in there.
A lot of color. You have to do a full color print to get these right. All right. So this is their current logo. Let me show you. I got to share my screen with a different. Hang on. Let's go to what their new logo might look like. And then I want to talk a little bit about businesses that get logos. I
think Adam is with EXP.
Adam is with EXP. Okay, good.
We said we have a new logo, plus the old one is just fine.
There you go. There's the new EXP logo.
Nice.
All right. So what do we think? Is this good? Is this bad? Indifferent? You might notice, and so this is a little bit unofficial. I got this from someone who wants to remain anonymous, honestly. So I talked to him or her about it, and they said, nah, just keep the name out of it. They are a part of an EXP agent group, and this was shared in that agent group about them looking at an update. So Christine Huberson says no. Tim says, I saw it getting some hate, but I think it's a good, clean update. Christian Harris says, close my indie brokerage and move the C-Town team powered by EXP Realty over to EXP. See, that's a lot of EXP. Is that the whole title? The C-Town team powered by EXP Realty over to EXP. Oh, wow. Howard said upside down. It's DYE. Wait a minute. What? Oh my God, I've blown my mind. You know, upside down real spells real. So hopefully they weren't going for that. I think they did that on purpose. All right, Dan Mack. All right, here we go. He said, I'm an EXP agent and I like the new logo much better. All right. I agree with that. I like it better, but it still left this reviewer blah. So this is a 2-color logo, which Zach Kennedy says, I like monochromatic versions. They are secondary colors and agents can brand to their personal marketing colors as well, which I think is cool. Adam said, yep, you guys have to realize that EXP desires for agents to create their own brand. My brand is Twin Ports Real Estate by EXP. Wait. You can... Yeah, you get your own brand, but you got to say powered by or EXP. You have to include EXP on the logo. State regulations require that. So you still got to use this logo. Pete Thorpe said, did they consult with American Airlines or Aflac maybe? So here's my take, is that they're doing so poorly that they had to save money anywhere, and to print all those other colors on the old logo was a lot of money. So this is their way of saving some cash. So Ryan Boker says, why is there an upside down Y in the middle of the logo? Yeah. All right. So why? I don't know. Let's take a look at one more logo. This is a little bit similar to, I feel like, and maybe they saw it and we're like, this where we go down the rabbit hole? We're going to start the rabbit hole here. Okay. So maybe they were like, let's take a look at what other logos are out there and see what we can do with this really pesky X. You know, X is very difficult, right? If you don't have a good, oh wait, this is not the right. Hang on, not the right link here. Let me get on a better link. Sorry, I'm going to show you this logo. We'll kind of compare and see if maybe open image in new tab. Give me just a second. I got to reshare. This is a lot of driving here right now. Oh yeah, stretch. Okay. I'm supposed to be vamping, but no, I do. Okay, so I was joking when I said the money saving thing. Because actually they're having a great quarter, or they had a great third quarter. But I think it's better. It's still blah to me, but it's better. That I just never liked that little 4-cornery blobby thing. I never understood it. I like the house thing I understood, but the blobby thing I didn't get. Okay. Oh, yeah. That's all right. So that's interesting. That's weird. That's weird. So they have they have like an upside down Y facing the other direction. It looks. Wait a second. Yeah, that's. I knew I had seen this somewhere before, like where they took a part of the X and made it into like part of something else. Yeah, that's weird. That's a pretty cool brand identity. I mean, it's so cool that they literally stole it from somewhere in Arkansas. So this is also interesting. You guys see the FedEx logo that I'm showing you right now. If you pay a close attention to the E and X, this is won all kinds of design awards because the arrow, there's an arrow pointing to the right that kind of like subliminally denotes going forward, moving forward, right? Well, if you note the EXP logo is actually, because they did it on the other side, they made the little X on the other side, there's a subliminal backwards arrow, and some people are like, oh no, why did they do that? So that I thought that was interesting.
Oh, that's crazy. I only see the arrow now. Yeah, buy with down by EXP. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Do y'all see the arrow that I'm talking about? Surely you'll see
the arrow
between the E and the X. Yeah. Howard says, ooh, the arrow. Oh, this is getting spicy. All right. So let's go down one more rabbit hole. I think a lot of people had hate for the previous logo. All right. I'm going to pull up the previous logo one more time because it's important for science. But where I'm going to pull up this, like, where do you think this logo came from, Dan? If you had to guess.
Well, I know. Oh,
you know. So a lot of people said, hey, this looks like something from Fiverr did. And we're just really dogging on this logo for a long time.
Yeah, I was kind of indifferent, but I didn't like that blobby thing.
Yeah. There was a lot of hate for the blob. And I have to tell you that if that was your opinion of their old logo, it wouldn't be far from the truth. Here is the logo tournament order from 11 years ago that cost EXP $600. I guess they forgot that this was public. But you can see exactly what they told the designers. They want number 1, integrity, number 2, expertise, number 3, virtual. Those were the key names.
Wait, why is number 3 virtual? That should have been up there. Oh my God. Right?
So if you type in logo design, EXP Realty logo, you'll find somebody named Buyer Tours who has ordered the logo. And this is the official thing. This is where they got it.
But they have the old options are available too.
Oh yeah, like it shows you like their the different themes that they like: masculine, colorful, modern, secure, the different watermarks they like, and pictorial marks. So they went through a lot of trouble, and they did exactly what normal people would do in Logo Arena. But I thought, wow, 11 years ago, they're sitting there thinking like, man, how can we get somebody to design a logo? We need a bunch of ideas. I know what I want, but I have no idea what logo I want. You know what? Let's go to Logo Arena.
Right. Should we pay a designer $50 grand a year to do this, and that's their entire job, or should we just go to like Fiverr?
Christine Alvis said 600 paid just too much for that logo. Clip art, 99 designs. So some of you are so close to that.
I got 99 designs, and a good one ain't one.
But this is the most interesting part that I thought of. You can't really see it very well on the screen, so I'll read it to you. He said, we have a separate tournament for .NET Realty and powered search realty going on. We're trying different names and logo strategies for the eventual company. We like EXP as a prefix for a number of ideas for our website, i.e. explore, search for properties, experts, our agents, express, our blog, expansion, our growth plans, exposure, how we market your property, etc. That's a little much for me, but
etc.
And here were companies that they listed as companies that they wanted to be like or pull ideas from: Redfin, realestate.com, Maybon.com, Zip Realty, Windmere, John L. Scott, Sotheby's, and Connected Realty, and Coldwell Banker. So I thought that was really interesting that they were looking at all these others saying, okay, these are our kind of competitors and what we want to look like. He said other ideas, thinking of the real estate office of the future. It's a small boutique office with a virtual receptionist, a couple of small conference rooms, an espresso machine, maybe some curvy walls. That's where the blob comes from.
Curvy walls.
Curvy walls. Kind of like an Apple store, but for real estate. Well, I don't know.
They went literal with the curvy walls.
If you haven't noticed, the Apple store is full of curvy. Oh wait, it's all straight actually.
Yeah.
Howard. See you later, buddy. He's going to a Zoom call.
Thanks, dude.
Dusty Martin's joining us. She says, hey, dudes, how's it going, Dusty? Adam said, way better than the new R. When they went from R to R for the Realtor.
Yes,
that's true. But they are laughing all the way to the bank. Shows logos are not that important. Yeah, that's true. Who did NAR use? Yeah, one did like $200,000 for the R that was never used.
$250,000.
All right, so let's take a look at some of the proposals. Now, an artist can withdraw their proposal, but I have to say,
redacted.
Yeah, based on the other options, they chose the clear winner.
Yeah.
Now, this one was pretty close if you're selling TPs. Yeah, it's a TP, though, which could be offensive in some parts of the country.
Do a TP. Oh, there's a little house one. I like that one. That one looks like
What is that one with the? Yeah, that's a terrible one.
That looks like boobs.
Order by ranking. So that's what we're looking at though. So
wouldn't it be funny if you ordered by ranking and the one they picked was like 15th,
second or so? Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, I was looking through them earlier, being like, could you see EXP with that one? No. Oh wait, look at this one. Ooh. The virtual real estate company. Huh. That looks really similar to what they currently have redesigned, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, and this one has the arrow. And there's a house in it.
And there's a house in it. Oh,
a sideways house, and it's an arrow pointing that way.
Except, well, the problem is the new EXP logo, because it's a rounded E, a lowercase e, it doesn't have any of that.
Right. I like that one a lot. Just if they had, I like their colors, by the way, the blue and the orange. If they had the blue and the orange on that EXP logo right there that you were just on, that might be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that that one was from 11 years ago and they kind of went towards that way. Oh, there's the arrow.
There's an arrow.
That arrow does not look like an arrow.
Not look good. That is not. They tried to do FedEx wrongly.
They've gone, ooh, that one's kind of cool.
So this EXP Realty looks like an SD card.
But okay, goofy, but A, look at the pixels on it.
Okay, yeah, that's very similar to Pixel property.
And B, that's kind of smart though. I kind of like that one.
It's kind of a mix between the old Xerox logo, like the really old Xerox logo.
Yeah, it's a little old feeling, but it's a cool thing.
All right, so I just thought that was really interesting. Now look at this. Look at these gold ones out the bottom. That is way more close to exactly what they have now. It's like they took this. I mean, that's almost exactly what they did, actually.
They just went back to the original $600 purchase and picked one and changed the colors.
We're just going to, you know what? We're not going to order a new logo.
Right.
Let's get our, quote, graphics team to design a new logo. By the way, guys, here's our original order.
Right. If you guys want to comb through here and they're all, oh, cool things.
Yeah. Wow. So we're not getting very many comments on it. I thought you guys would find that way more interesting than I did, because we actually hired a graphics designer to design our logo and look at everything. But this is a fascinating historical thing. If you go back and look at this logo arena where they're talking about, see, the buyer tours is the account holder, and they responded to all these artists, telling them what they wanted and why they wanted it, what they were thinking about, and what was going through their mind whenever they designed their original EXP logo. So I thought that was cool.
I mean, and whatever you feel, that is weird, but however you feel about the logo, like it or not like it or indifferent, it's still cool to see the process. I think that's a great find, buddy. Nice work. Dude, that was investigative work here on the Real Estate Show.
A little bit of investigative. Yeah.
And me finding quotes from 5 years ago and real numbers on, that's what have we done today?
We have stumbled upon journalism.
I keep, by the way,
journalism light. Let's be
very, very light. But I always have that thought in the back of my head because I research throughout the week to stay on top of my game and then look for stuff for the show. I look about 3 or 4 times a week at stories and then share them. I always have that thought in the back of my head. I'm kind of like researching right now. I'm kind of like digging into. I'm like a journalist a little bit here. We got to be careful.
Yep. Oh, so Christian Harris says, I think a lot of agents, so we have some EXP comments. So I just want you to know that if you comment on the show promoting your brokerage, that's fine, but I'm always going to play devil's advocate. Okay. So Christian Harris says, I think a lot of agents and teams come over to EXP because of the branding flexibility, not because of their stock logo is awesome, which it's not. Well, that's true, but you do have to use that logo on all of your branding. And if you decide to pay a real estate company 80 or 20% of your income, and then you get some back with stock options because you're vested in the company, you actually own part of this company. And I think you should know what the logo looks like. Secondly, if you're actually paying a brokerage to be at that brokerage, then you should appreciate being with that brokerage and be proud of it, right? That brokerage should hold some weight, and the weight should be equal to the value in which you receive. And if you're at a no fees, 100% brokerage, and you're not receiving any other value and keeping all your money, in my opinion, that's probably ideal to be a situation in which you don't have to display that everywhere. You kind of create your own brand and do your own thing. You make 100%. The brokerage isn't giving you anything. However, If you're a member of another brokerage that really takes pride in the brand and tries to spread the brand, taking marketing dollars away from what you have to spend, because then it gives more value when someone says, hey, I'm with I Sell Houses Realty, and everyone goes, oh, yeah, I've heard of them. I know them. I'm familiar with them. I have a relationship with that brand. Right. So let's say Coca-Cola decides, you know what, we're going to decentralize our brand. All the regional Coke manufacturers that make Coke, you could call it whatever you want. Just put our little Coke logo at the bottom.
Right.
The problem that consumers are going to have is a lack of consistency with the product. And so when someone says, I want to join a brokerage because I could do my own thing and have my own brand, you're not trusting the quality of the brokerage in which you're currently at or the brand in which the brokerage that you're about to join, because you want to do your own thing and have complete control of the quality and process, which is totally fine. But why are you paying them so much money? So you should not pay a lot of money at a brokerage that doesn't require, and that's the trade-off. You then have to do all your own marketing. You then have to do all your own videos. You then have to do, pay. Whereas some brokerages will take that burden of payment off of you, but then they are going to be their brand centric, because that's what they want people to know. Whenever someone mentions that brand, right, that brand should have meaning, and the meaning and weight of that brand should equate to the value in which you're paying and the value which you're receiving. Adam Johnson says, you can't honestly tell me that RE/MAX has quality control over their agents. Yeah, right.
They actually do. We have very, very tight guidelines to how we can do what. Now, whether or not they do it is, that's tough, because with 158,000 agents or whatever, it's hard to and all over the world, it's hard to control all that. But we have very tight guidelines when we do signs. Although I got around one, I can't say what I did, but if you guys ever see one of my listing signs around here in Southern California, you're going to notice pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right. So Dusty Martin said, that's exactly right. And that's why I left my own brokerage. I paid 20% and nada in return.
So value is
Patrick
what you're
Ellis, Home Inspections, joining the show. Hey, sir. He says, Mike Drop Ray. Edward Carlos says, well said. And Christian agrees. He said, just saying the logo itself of a company has limited value by itself, though I think aesthetics do matter. It's the attached feeling and association that comes with the brand, which is not the same thing as the logo. That is true, the attached feeling and association with the brand. But if you are at a brokerage that doesn't require you to display or put that brand everywhere, or you just say powered by and it's really small, or you just say with and it's really small, then that brand is basically telling you that you're going to be the one carrying the burden of marketing. You're going to be the one carrying the burden of branding yourself and not relying on us to do that. They're going to give you different resources, but just make sure those resources match the value in which you're paying, or you should move or go out on your own as an independent. Chris Murray said, each office is independently owned and operated, and our per agent performance speaks for itself. That sounds like a ad.
It's true though.
Well, and so RE/MAX is a model, and which does give some agents freedom, but you also have a brand guideline and you have what you're supposed to do. And though each office is independently owned and operated, you are part of a franchise. So you do have some controls as a franchise agreement.
But I don't have to put powered by.
You don't have, well, no, you're just with RE/MAX.
Right? I'm powered by, I don't know, a half of a bagel and cream cheese in the morning. That's what I'm powered by.
That would be an awesome ad. Realtor powered by coffee. Billie Jean says logo says a lot about credibility marketing wise. That's true. I think logos may be more important in the future. I think for years they haven't been that important because people were Xeroxing stuff. I think nowadays logos kind of hold a little more weight to them. People are looking for something to associate with.
Well, now, if you really think about logos, like you can think about Nike, and if you just see that swoosh, you already know.
Yeah.
And there's which brand was it? It was McDonald's, or was some huge brand that they're like, we're not even going to put our logo on stuff. You're just going to see these colors and know where this food came from. Like that was their marketing campaign.
Color is a huge brand.
But Billie Jean has another comment. She says, I feel like if you're going to go through the trouble of a rebrand, it needs to be a little more creative and groundbreaking than that. The Coldwell Banker rebrand last year was very different from their prior look. And same with
well, we talked about, so one of the reasons we talked about these logo brands because it's fun for us, but we talked about Coldwell Banker looking very baseball. You remember the logo? The new Coldwell Banker looks like a Colorado Rockies baseball team.
Yeah, and also that star reminded me of some flags from around the world.
Yeah, that's true. It kind of looked a little bit. Melissa Mara said, powered by pork roll and cheese on a bagel. Isn't there a dispute about what pork roll is called? It's like pork roll.
Pete has the next comment. Taylor Ham.
Oh, there it is. Taylor Ham. Okay, yeah, I knew there was something.
So Taylor Ham makes pork roll. That's the argument. What do you call it? But anyway, but also remember that
realtor powered by caffeine, whiskey, and depression.
Dude, that's me. Like you just summed me up in a nutshell, and apparently Clayton too. But remember the Century 21? They did that whole C20. I loved their new logo. I loved it. But
that's
they didn't change any of their infrastructure, and then the dude came back to Remax, and then they're kind of left floundering. But they look cool. They have a cool logo.
They do have a much cooler, more modern logo. Change led by Nick Bailey, who's now at Remax and was on our show. Look up the previous show. Maybe we'll note up the show up there. Tim says it's the idea that the broker is the platform you run your business on. The broker brand for companies like EXP is only there to supplement the agent's brand, not to be the main one. Oh, I didn't display. There's Tim. Yeah. Yep. So it's just a different model.
And Tim would know because he left. Oh, wait, he left.
He got real.
He got really real.
No, Taylor Ham is the brand. The pork roll is the thing.
C21. They make movies now. Yeah.
Yeah. Century 21. There was also, you remember when we talked about Century 21 being bankrupt, and it was just a little blurb that came across, but it was like some kind of little mall outlet.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. It was like a clothing outlet.
Well, because they stayed with the old logo, obviously.
Yeah. All right, Dan. Thank everyone for joining us for joining us on this Veterans Day holiday. We appreciate your time. We also appreciate it when you shared your show. So thank you for everyone that did that. I saw the pings come through. Don't forget to comment on Susie Orman. But Dan, where could they find you?
Nowhere. Don't go find me. Don't go follow me anywhere. Where can they find you, Ray?
Ray Zorback. I would go to Instagram. Ray RAYZORBACK. I'm also on Parlor. I'm also on Parlor.
Careful.
I have a fake name on there.
Careful.
So I am at Ray Ellen. So I'm there in disguise.
Hey, but by the way, no, if you want to follow me anywhere, follow the Bearded Man Real Estate Show and share the program. That's what you should do. Don't follow me. Share it on YouTube. Go share it on YouTube. Do that for me. There you go. Hey, give me a full screen real quick.
Say bye. Hi.
Look at the camera. Say hi. There's a daughter. Hi, daughter.
Hi, daughter.
That one right there. Not the light thing. The camera over there. She points at the light and goes, "Is that the camera?" No, that's a light. The camera's behind the light. There you go. Yeah, the daughters are off today, so says thanks for a great show. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to you too. Tim, thanks for serving. Some of you other guys in the audience that I don't know that serves, thank you guys for serving, and thanks for joining the show. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.